Hey everyone, this is Brian from ActiveMelody.com. Well, I got a lot of positive response from last week's lesson, which was how to jam with yourself. And it was something I did on acoustic guitar, and I showed you how you could take two chords, an A minor chord and a D7th chord, and you could have a little jam session with yourself. Which, by the way, if you're looking for that lesson, it's EP045. So that's the lesson number. So go to ActiveMelody.com and look for that if you're seeing this out of context. But yeah, so it was all about how to jam with yourself with two chords. So, well, this week I'm taking that same concept. We've got the same two chords, but now we're going to be doing it on electric guitar. So you have some different. I'm giving you some different ways to think about playing rhythm and lead. And another kind of cool bonus is you can take this week's jam track and play last week's lesson over it. So it gives you kind of a new way to practice what you learned last week. So if you want to download the jam track for this week and get the tablature for everything I played in the intro, go to ActiveMelody.com and look for EP046. So let's go ahead and take a look at this lesson. Alright, so once you get a chance to listen to the jam track, you'll notice that there is no guitar part at all. There's no rhythm. It's just the piano, bass, and drums. I intentionally left the guitar out so that you can do all of the guitar work, the rhythms and the leads, and it's really up to you to create the guitar track or the guitar channel. Another cool thing is you can take last week's lesson and so you have licks that you learned last week. So now you've got those licks, and then you've got the new ones from this week that we're about to learn. So you've kind of got a lot to work with and can create. Really should be able to create some kind of fun and some new stuff for you, hopefully, with this jam track. You know what I'd love for you to do is, for those of you that are so inclined, or so daring I should say, is to record yourself playing along with a jam track, or do a version of you with no jam track, kind of like we did last week, no accompaniment, and put it up on YouTube and send me the links. You can email it to me through the website, through the contact on the website, or you can just send it directly to Brian at ActiveMelody.com. I would love to get those, and I'll showcase them on the Active Melody Facebook page and website and get you a lot of views. So if you want to do that and you want to kind of share what you do, I think that'd be fun. I always kind of feel like I know a lot of you feel like you're in a silo when you're learning. You feel like you're kind of doing it on your own, but there's a lot of other people out there kind of learning these same things, and so it'd be kind of fun to show kind of what you're doing. And I think I'm a big believer in peer-based learning, learning from each other. Sometimes that's where the best learning really comes from. Okay, so let's take a look at this first lick. Now, this one, it sounds like this. And that's kind of a Stevie Ray Vaughan thing. I don't do a whole lot of Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff just because I don't have the chops, but that's something I've heard him do a fair amount of, which is it's kind of this double string thing. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of playing I am playing two strings at once, but I'm skipping a string. That's what gives it this kind of a weird sound. And this string that I'm playing, I just play that same string over these other notes. You can hear just that note. And so what I'm doing I'm starting here with my ring finger on the 5th fret, 4th string, and I'm going to slide up to the 7th fret. That's the first thing that happens. Then I take my pointer finger and I bar the first 3 strings on the 5th fret. And you'll know that, or remember that we're playing in the key of A, so this is the A minor pentatonic scale, which is the root fret is here on the 5th fret. So that's why I'm able to bar those 3 strings. When you think of the scale, those notes are all right there anyway. So anyway, the first thing I do is that. Then I bar these 3 strings, and then I play strings 3 and 1 at the same time. Now, what I'm doing is I'm using a pick, obviously. So I'm picking the 3rd string, but I'm using my ring finger to pluck the 1st string like this, and it happens at the same time. See how I'm doing that? And that's a technique that if you're new to that may feel kind of awkward at first, like you're going to drop your pick or something, but you just keep working at it. You'll use that a lot. It's called hybrid picking, where you're using kind of two avenues at once. Any of those turnarounds, that's how I do them, is using the pick on one string and then ring finger on the other. Okay, so that's the first two things. Then we're going to come up here. We're going to keep this bar down the whole time. I'm going to take my ring finger and come up and push down the 7th fret 3rd string. So we have those 2 notes. So now all together we have. Now I'm going to do a hammer on, keep the bar down, do a hammer on like this. So I'm letting go of the 7th fret 3rd string, and then I'm going to hammer it back on again to kind of repeat it. Then I'm just going to play strings 1 and 3 again on the 5th fret. And then I come down here and I play the 7th fret 4th string again. And then I play strings 1 and 3 on the 5th fret again. So let me back up. I'll do all of that slowly without talking. And you can just hear that same note rings out for all of those other notes underneath it. Kind of a cool effect. So after I do that, then I come up here and I do this big Albert Colin style vibrato, which is, you know, like that. And you don't have to do vibrato if you're new to it. The vibrato is the shaking of the string. But I think it gives it, do the best you can with it, because it gives it kind of a, you know, kind of a cool feel, really. And after that, I come back and I repeat this again. Now the second time through, after that part is the same, but then I play strings 4 and 3 on the 5th fret. So I'm just extending that bar, really. And after I do that, I take my ring finger and I come down to the 5th string on the 7th fret, and I slide up from the 7th fret to the 9th fret like that. And after I do that, I take my pointer finger and I bar the 7th fret, the first 4 strings, so that I can play strings 4 and 3 like this. So all together it goes. And that's just that Wind Cries Mary chord. I kind of like to think of it that way. It's really just a D chord, but you're changing the bass note in it, and so that you're. So that's what I'm doing there, because in the song, or in the jam track, that's where the D chord is, or the D7th chord. So so backing up, what we have the second time through is. Okay, so then when we go through it again, we have. We're back to that again, but now I end this by going. And for that, so after the vibrato thing, then I'm going to play strings. And by the way, that I didn't even mention the what note that is. I'm starting that on the 8th fret 2nd string, and I'm sliding up to the 10th fret 2nd string. That's what that note is. Should have said that before. So then to do this lick, we're going to start here on the 10th fret 2nd string. Then I'm going to play the 8th fret 1st string, 10th fret 1st string. Now I'm going to do a full bend, and I'm going to stop it like this. So notice a lot of times when you bend, you'll bend it up and you'll bend it down like this. But this time you're going to bend it and stop it. As soon as you stop it, release the tension on the string so that you can play the 8th fret 1st string and the 10th fret 2nd string. So you can do those 2 notes really quickly like this. Notice with the right hand I'm doing a downstroke and an upstroke. So all together that part goes. So you can see I do the bend, mute it, and then the. And by the way, that lick is you could play that over just about anything. I love that. And that's an Albert King lick. If you ever listen to any of those, any of his recordings, you'll hear him just do that over and over again. Doesn't matter what key he's in. And I think he played, I think he was in a half step down. All of his strings were tuned down a half step. He was also a left-handed player, so it's all backwards and all out of whack. But that's the lick. Okay, so then I came down and played the 8th fret 2nd string. Then I go to the 9th fret 3rd string, and as soon as I hit that, I slide down. I hit it and slide to the 7th fret on the 3rd string. 5th fret 3rd string. 7th fret 4th string. And then I come up here and play the 5th fret 3rd string, and at that point I just sort of trail it off. I can't remember what I did in the intro, to be honest, but I think that's about where I left it. I might have come up here and concluded with that note, which is the 7th fret 3rd string. Sometimes it's hard to break these things down, because when I'm playing them, even though I'm trying to be very structured, a lot of times what my fingers do is they just kind of, it's almost like when you're singing and your voice sort of trails off a little bit and you hit some notes while it's trailing. You'll hear artists do that. The same thing happens when you're playing. So when you're playing a solo, even though there's a structure to it, and a lot of times your fingers will just naturally do that. It's kind of a good thing to do. Your fingers will just follow the pentatonic scale to something, or whatever scale you're in. So, okay, so let me back up and I'll play all of that. So we have it's the first time. Second time. That time I went and hit strings 2 and 3. So just remember, you've always got another little tidbit for you. You've always got the first, if you're borrowing the first 3 strings on the 5th fret or the first 3 strings on the 7th fret, you've always got that string 2 and 3 thing that work over any of this. So at any point, if you ever get lost, you can think of that as kind of a home base. Those 2 strings, and you'll hear Chuck Berry use them a lot. There's just a lot of shared notes in that area, and so anyway, so that's the first lick.